Ladies, can you please get ready because we're going to take a group photo. Make sure you on your camera later on. Okay, thank you. I see more love coming in. Are you feeling great? Wah, banyak love for me today. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Even though it's late in the day already, our last slot of a class for a day, but you still energetic. Good, good vibe. Yeah, more coming in. Thank you, thank you. Okay, everybody. Assalamualaikum. Let me see. This light, can we start our class with a citation, a recite of Al-Fatihah? Okay, thank you everybody. Thank you our speaker, Mr. Faizia bin Abdul Hanania, okay, from PayNet, who has accept my invitation to give a talk to you all. Probably it's just take not long, probably just 1 hour. And then we will open question to all of you. Make sure you ask. It's not easy for you to understand or get insight. PayNet. You know, PayNet is actually anak syarikat Bank Negara. Hold on, my battery out of battery. Hold on. So for the introduction, I will let Mr. Faizia, okay, to introduce himself. So for the rest, I want to say thank you for attending the class. This is our very last class, and at the end of the class, you are supposed to come up with a summary of what you have learned out of today's class. And you have to submit it latest by tomorrow. I know some of you already balik kampung. So only conditionally you have to ask my permission first to submit online, so soft copy. The rest you have to submit hard copy. Just put under my door. Okay, so this one will be 10% of our assignment. The first assignment you already submitted. Now this is our second assignment. Okay, this is based on our syllabus. The last one is from our topic. You can see the challenges or something beyond what we learned in the class. So that is our last syllabus, something beyond. So that's why every semester I will invite speaker from outside to share. Usually I like to choose a young how to say a speaker, because young speaker, they are close to you. It's not a generation gap kan. The age is almost your age. And you see Mr. Hafiz also quite young. So without further ado, I will pass the floor to Mr. Faizia. Okay, the floor is yours, Mr. Faizia. And for your information, we do record record this presentation. Okay, because student might want to, see again for their assignment.
All right,
Okay,
sure. All right,
okay.
thank you so much, Dr.
Oh
Zainura.
yeah, I
So,
think probably we take photo first
all right,
before I forget, eh? Everybody, can you on your camera? Everybody on your camera. Uh, okay, maybe you stop sharing first, Mr. Faiz, so that I can. Okay. Can you please on your camera? Gentlemen, where are the gentlemen? I see mostly ladies. Gentlemen, where are you? Cepat, cepat, cepat. So that we can start our talk today and we can the faster. Okay. Second page, you are here. Everybody, especially yang pakai tudung tu, sarung je lah, whatever tudung. If you're at your hostel or at your rumah sewa. Cepat, cepat. Okay. Sekarang. It's my camera green screen. Let me double check. You all can also take photo for yourself. Okay. Okay. I think we can start,
all
Okay,
right.
everybody smile, Smile. 1, 2, 3. And wait, another page, second page. Okay, smile everyone. 1, 2, 3. Ni siapa? Muhammad Afiq. Very happy. Okay. We done with photo session. Ya, senyum. Baru Akilah, no Akilah. Ceria dia. Bagus. Nur Farah, senyum sikit. Nur Farah, senyum sikit. Okay. Where is my green screen again? Okay. I pass the floor to Mr. Faiz. The floor is yours.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Zainura. Can you see my screen? I hope it's
Yes,
visible.
yes.
All right. Okay.
Mhm.
I'll start. Okay. Assalamualaikum to Dr. Zainura and all the students here. A very good evening to all of you. So, thank you very much for attending today's talk. The talk for today will be crafting your data journey, transforming numbers into narratives. All right, so a little bit about myself. Who am I? Transformative shift, engineering guide to data enthusiast. So my name is Faizia. I graduated with a Bachelor of Civil Engineering from a very interesting country, that is from China, Tongji University, China. And a very cool fun fact about me is that I speak 4 languages. So let's see which languages I speak. Obviously English, and then semestinya bahasa Melayu sebab membesar kat Malaysia. And then 我也可以说中文，因为毕竟我是在中国大学毕业。Et la dernière, c'est je peux parler français aussi parce que j'ai vécu en France pendant 4 mois. So, want to take a guess which is the fourth language? If you have a sharp ear, I did say it'll be like français, France. So, yes, the fourth and last language is that I speak is French. And Similar to everyone here, I believe the one thing that we really share in common is being passionate with the power of data. So, working in this industry from theory to practice, a closer look. I would definitely say the things that you learn in undergraduate, in academia, can be slightly different from what is being practiced in industry. So, a little bit background of where I work. As Dr. Zainura mentioned just now, I work at PayNet, which is the anak syarikat subsidiary of Bank Negara Malaysia. I'm aware, I'm pretty sure that majority of you here are very much aware and familiar with the products of PayNet, even though you might not know who the company is, but I'm very, very sure you guys use our products on a very frequent, even daily basis, especially during our QR code. Right now, if you go to cafeterias, you go to restaurants, the payment you make, back then it was using cash, but right now you can just seamlessly pay with your phone. Do it now. And then there's FPX. If people like to do shopping online, on Shopee, on Lazada. The checkout at the very end, you key in your Maybank to you or so on and so forth. That is using FPX and My Debit as well. So if you have a ATM card, all of the ATM card in Malaysia have a My Debit besides, the Visa, My Debit. And then you have JomPay as well. JomPay is if you pay electrical bills and all of that. So all of these are actually under my company, which is called PayNet. And it is under Bank Negara Malaysia. And the thing that we do in PENA is really supplying the digital payment ecosystem to really drive the digital payment in Malaysia, providing digital payment solutions. So the cool stuff that I do in my company is data analytics and data science. So for data analytics, this is just a quick overview. I'll run through it more in detail later. So for data analytics, I work hand in hand with the Ministry of Health, and then we analyze 4,000 of their facilities throughout Malaysia. So all the public hospitals, I'm sorry, not university, all the public hospitals in Malaysia, including Sabah and Sarawak. And then from all of this analysis, the data, I propose strategies to increase the digital payment rate in these public hospitals. And then I also identify outliers or errors in data. And for data science, we are doing a lot of fraud kind of transactions. So I think everyone is aware the scams transaction nowadays are quite prevalent. And then we at PayNet, we are trying actually to combat this. So we create machine learning models to do classification, binary classification models of mule accounts. So mule accounts in this context, the definition is basically, just give an example for a scam, right? When someone scams another person, a victim, the scammer gets the money from the victim, let's say 500 ringgit. The scammer will not immediately cash out the money directly in the ATM. The scammer will actually transfer this money out to several few mule accounts, basically meaning accounts that are rented out by other people before it is being cashed out. So that is what mule account here refers to. And then I also do a lot of EDA to learn about these behaviors of mule accounts. So here I would like to dive more deeper into the practical examples of how I actually utilize the power of data in my work. Okay, so firstly is data analytics. As I mentioned just now, we work hand in hand with the Ministry of Health to analyze 4,000 of their public hospitals, public facilities throughout Malaysia. So the few tasks that I'm involved in is feature creation, doing a Power BI dashboard to monitor the progress and the data of these public hospitals, and then also communicating insights. Basically, what I get from this Power BI dashboard, I communicate them to the decision maker. So I'll just give an example of one work that I did, which is feature creation. If I'm pretty sure everyone here understand what feature is, but maybe just explain a bit. So features are basically, you can view it as elements or context. Basically, if you have an Excel, the column, that is also something like a feature. So this is the data that we receive monthly from Ministry of Health. Basically, this is just a very small snapshot of what the entire data is. but you can see the data that they give us. It's classified in the states, negeri, the types of facility, the types of the PTJ, the name of the facility, basically which hospital or which facility it is, and they only provide us two data points or two features: the transaction in terms of digital payment and the transactions of cash. Conventional here refers to cash. So they only provide us these two data, and then my boss was like, okay, this is the data, I give it to you, but I need more insights from this. I want to increase the digital payment rate. So that is the setting that was given to me, like just a very simple one-dimensional data. But then from there, how do you actually create more features from such a simplified data? So that is where feature creation comes in. So from these two features alone, I was actually able to create six added features. So from two features, I did a lot of feature, not necessarily feature engineering per se, but feature creation to come out six added features with only two features, and then additionally with the other data here like the state and all. So from just a very minimal amount of data of digital payment and cash payment volume, I'm able to come out what is the cashless penetration rate, what is the number of facilities aggregating by the state, what is the transaction per facility, what is the quantity of reports that are not submitted. Because you have to understand, for example, Selangor here, let's just say there are 100 facilities in Selangor, but not all of the facilities are submitting their data. So you have to create a new feature that identifies how many that actually submit their data this month, and then you can identify their submission percentage. And then there's a weightage this as well. So this weightage is basically signifying how much does this state hold in comparison to all the other 14 states. If you aggregate every single thing at once, we can obviously know that Selangor has the most amount of people. So Selangor would be the one that has the highest weightage in the comparison of all the other states. So this is what a real life work example is. Your boss is just going to give you a very simplified one dimensional data, and it is your job to really churn out insights, create new features from the amount of data that you have. So you really have to really think outside of the box and really know what you want to look for. So I would say in data analytics for this part, the challenges that I really face in real setting, it's definitely cleaning and processing the data. More often than not, the data that you receive can be in a clean or not clean format. So you have to take the initiative to identify whether it's clean or not. If it's not clean, you also have to clean it up. And it's really up to you to think how you want to clean the data. And then you have to also understand, secondly, what features you want to create and what to analyze, because the data that comes in can sometimes be quite in, I would say, variety. There's a lot of data. So which data you want to look for, that all depends on you. So that's the challenging part of data analytics. And then I will actually also add maybe a bit on, okay, here there is this thing called identifying in this data analytics. I hope you can see identify outliers or errors in data. So this is also a very interesting thing. So when you receive the data, right, from your stakeholder, you cannot 100% be sure that what the data they are giving to you are 100% accurate. So you actually have to eyeball it and analyze it each row, if possible, one by one, and see if the data they are giving you, is it realistic or not. Because this is a real example from what I experienced. The stakeholder gave me the data, I look at it, and then I sort it by the biggest biggest public hospitals in Malaysia, which is Hospital Kuala Lumpur, right? So Hospital Kuala Lumpur, if you just do a little quick search online, you can see that annually they have almost 1 million transactions per year. But then the data that they gave us was not reflecting the actual or realistic number in real life. The data they gave us was like 1/10 of what it's supposed to be. So this is what I'm saying. You have to identify the outliers. No one is going to tell you that. Sometimes you really have to understand. And this is actually what business call a KYB or KYC. You have to know your business, you have to know your customers. So this is where the domain knowledge comes in. When you get a set of data, since from the experience that you have, from the knowledge that you have, you can already tell, okay, is this data authentic? Is there outlier? Is there an error in this data? If there is an error, if you feel like it's not that realistic, then you have to bring it up to the stakeholder to re-verify. So that's also one of the challenges of data analytics, is to making sure the data they receive are really authentic. Next, we can move on to data science. So data science is much more interesting. What I do in PayNet is combating fraud through National Fraud Portal. National Fraud Portal is actually a quite recent initiative by Bank Negara Malaysia. The purpose is to trace transactions in fraudulent case. So, for example, if there is a case that is identified as a scam, what happens is that the victim that got scammed, they will actually call the National Scam Response Center, and then the National Scam Response Center will record their data on this portal. And then what it happens is it's going to have like a trail, as you can see on the right here. So this is the initial point of where the victim reports that it got scammed, and then we can actually see where the money goes. It's like a trailing of money, like a spider web. So the initial point, 500 ringgit, it goes maybe 500 ringgit directly to this scammer, and then this account breaks up into two parts, like 300 ringgit here, 200 ringgit here, and then maybe another from this 300 ringgit it goes 100 ringgit here, 200 ringgit here. So this portal visualizes and tells us where does the money go when the victim reports its money got stolen by a scam. So you can see the flow of it. And the subsequent one, that there's only one victim, but the remaining ones where the account gets transferred here and there, they are called the mule accounts, right? So that is what this National Fraud Portal do. And what we as a data scientist, we analyze this mule accounts behavior. We analyze all the data that we receive, the transaction, the a lot of data that we analyze. And the picture on the right here is what I mentioned, that it's actually the launching of this portal, and it is quite recent. If you can see, it is on 20th August 2024. So it is just few months back that this got launched. So this is working. What I do as a data scientist in combating fraud in PayNet. So the challenges in data scientists, I would say, is whatever the challenges that data analytics have, so cleaning and processing data, knowing what features to create, knowing what to analyze, but there is an added challenges to that. So data analytics is sort of like the foundation, and then there's another added challenge to that, which is big data complexity. So uh, what do I mean by big data complexity is that data analytics, or more often something we call like a business analytics, the data that they receive from the stakeholder usually is in an Excel form, right? And when it's in Excel form, I wouldn't really consider it as big data, because big data you define as the four V's of big data, right? Like volume, velocity, variety, and veracity. And in Excel form, usually the volume is not much. There's a limit of rows. So data science has its own challenges in terms of big data, because the data that we get, that we analyze, are usually really big data, as I mentioned, the four V's, and this comes from the data lake and the data warehouse, and this is more towards data engineering part. And the data is very complex in terms of the four V's. So velocity, it comes in very, very fast. Variety, volume, and veracity. So I'll just touch upon two: volume and variety. So the data that we have is really, really, really big in volume, like incredibly big of volume, because every transaction, every digital payment transaction that every one of you do, every Malaysians do it now, QR, FPX, JomPay, MyDebit, all of that, we have that data. So there is just so much data. And then we as data scientists, we have to know what data we want to get out, we want to extract from the data warehouse. So that's the uh, complexity, which is volume. So you have to know which time frame you want to get, because you cannot be getting the data from the start point, the very beginning until today. There is just too much data to process. So you have to know which window you want to get, and then variety as well. There is just so many features. So what do I mean by features is basically a very quick view is like one transaction, right? There is the okay transaction ID, then you have the start, you have the end, you have the amount, you have which bank, the originating bank, you have the receiving bank, you have the what else? There basically a lot of features, a lot of columns in this one transaction. So in terms of variety, you also need to know which one you just want to select. You cannot be selecting all because it's very computationally expensive and time consuming. So that is the one big challenge of data scientists, the big force, the big data complexity. Secondly is relational database complexity. So what this means is that in a database, one database, you have a lot of tables that have relationship with each other, but the relationship can be quite complex. For example, I'll just give a specific example that the database that I'm working on, one database, we have 11 tables. So all of these 11 tables are actually interconnected, but their connection can be really complex because in one there's 11 tables, but each tables itself they have like 20 columns more, right? So you have to really know how you want to connect each table with another table. So here is where sort of like SQL, relational database knowledge, comes in. And then I would definitely say the connection is not like one dimensional, it's really all over the place. The way they create the database can be quite complex. I mean, the tables relationship can be quite complex. It wouldn't be just, oh, table A, table B, then table B, table C. Sometimes like table A, table B, then table C, then table A again, then table D, something like that. So you have to be clear to how do you do the relationship between these 11 tables and all. So these two added, I would say, is the challenge of data science. Now it's more going towards for you guys instead. So I've shared my story, my experience working as a data analytics and a data science. Now, Sherry, what are the skills to masters? Because I would definitely say they are just a sea of tools, a sea of skills, especially in this day and age, especially with the advent of AI, the introduction of AI. There's just so many things to master. Sometimes you just do not have time. So I would definitely say you have to prioritize what really matters first. Once you must master these, then you can only start exploring. Because I would definitely say in industry setting, these things are they're like the basic, the core of it, right? You cannot run from it. If you master these four, you can if you master all of this, you can actually go in any industry. It's like a transferable skills. So let's look. So I will first touch on technical skills, right? I will be providing four tools or skills that you really have to master. So I call it the Fantastic Four of data mastery. The first one is Excel. So Excel is incredibly important, I would say, because a lot of maybe you're very techy, a very tech person, you very knowledgeable in using pandas, right, dealing with data frames and all CSV file. However, you have to understand if you work in a company, there's a lot of non-tech people as well, a lot of business sided people, right? So how do you communicate with these non-tech people, business sided people, is basically through Excel. And then in Excel, I would say a very important thing to master is pivot tables. Pivot tables, it's really, really important. If you have not, maybe not experienced with it, I think you should really master this pivot table. It's basically aggregation. I would say like you group by, it's very similar to if you are familiar with pandas, like the group by aggregation. Basically, you group everything together and then you pivot table and then you have different columns. That is pivot table. And then visualization and graph as well. So visualization and graph, I would say do not just do like the automatic way. You have an automatic way where you have a table, you just drag, you highlight everything, then you insert lines or you insert graph, I would definitely recommend you really understand how it's done. So instead of highlighting everything, then you insert it automatically. You let Excel do it for you. Why not you do it manually? So you don't highlight anything. You actually insert the graph first, so it's gonna be like very blank. Then you right click, select data. That that's how you actually learn how the data is selected. So I would that then only you really master how you actually create visualizations and graphs in Excel. That's Excel. Secondly, it's Power BI. So I would definitely say a lot of industry they are really pushing towards dashboard because dashboard gives real-time monitoring of data. There's a lot of advantages of dashboards. So Power BI as well, visualization and graphs. And then in Power BI, there's measure and DAX and yeah, basically measure and DAX. So I also did a Power BI dashboard from scratch with the 4,000 public healthcare facilities of Ministry of Health, and it's a very powerful tool that it able to translate the data directly to the decision makers, to your boss. Next is SQL. I think SQL is really, really important if you want to work as a data person, no matter what, data engineering, data analytics, data scientist. Because in industry, I would say everything is stored in a database. And one of the most efficient way you can pull all of this data is through SQL. And then when we talk about SQL, I would say in industry setting, it's as I mentioned earlier, it's very complex, right? The relational database and the big data. So it's not just a very simple select from where or like a one dimensional join on. You have to really understand what CTE tables are, common table expressions. They are basically like a temp table. And then you also have to master like subqueries because the SQL, the queries can be quite long. So it's like a flow. So first you create from the data set that is so big and so large, you create a small table. And then from this small table, basically you create a CTE table or temp table, and then you extract something from that temp table, and then you extract from the temp table, or you create two tables, and then you join these two tables together in 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 another way. So the SQL can be quite complex. So really master what CTA tables are, what subqueries are, how do you deal with relational database using SQL. And lastly, once you master the other three, then proceed with Python. I think Python is really versatile in industry. It's quite widely used in many settings, and it's especially important if you're dealing with data because if of pandas, the data
May
that
I interrupt you? Sorry, yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
when you mentioned Python, actually, for us,
yeah,
computer science student, they use Python.
yeah,
And then we have a mathematics student and also statistics student, they use R,
R, yeah,
which is similar to Python. Uh,
y- yes, yes. So if you're a stats math student, you learn R, that's very good. I think you can pick up Python quite easily because I would say industry mostly use Python. I understand maybe in academia you guys use R as well, but Python is like a very versatile tool that no matter where you go, if you have that skills, no matter if you do web development or app development or QA, whatever, I think Python still is a very multi multi functional tool to have. But in specifically for data context, pandas is definitely the one library that you really have to master. You really have to know how data frame works, and then matplotlib as well, visualization. Of course there are other libraries for visualization, but I would definitely say matplotlib is like the standard. Everyone really use matplotlib and pandas. So, and I would say the order of the mastery is definitely following this order. So you first master Excel, you go to Power BI, then you master SQL, then you master Python. So that's for the technical skills. Next is for the power skills, right? People call it soft skills. People call it soft skills. But I think power skill has a better sound to it. It feels more stronger. So power skills, aside from technical skills, actually equally as important. The one of the most important skill, especially if you are in the data, industry is storytelling. So you have to treat your data as the story. You cannot just view it as just numbers, as just integers, as just strings, right? You have to find a storyline from this raw data. You have to craft your work with a narrative. What do you want to achieve? And then you also have to tailor your storyline to your audience expertise, meaning that, as I mentioned, in industry setting, you're working with both tech people and business people that are non-tech at all. The way you approach these two sets of people are very different. The jargon that you use, if you are, talking to tech people, maybe they understand, but if the business people, they might not understand. So you have to tune a bit. So the storytelling has to change a bit as well. So storytelling definitely incredibly important. Next is effective communication. This is usually communication amongst your team and amongst your boss, right? So let's say if your boss gives you a task, sometimes the task might seem quite vague. So you must clarify any uncertainties that you are not aware of or you are not clear and clarify them with your boss. Really ask, what do your boss want in this? And then you have to also lay down expectations with your boss, and then constant check-ins with your boss, with your manager is also very important. So what I mentioned here is clarify uncertainties, right? Is especially if you're doing, I would say, data science, as I mentioned earlier, because you're dealing with big data. Sometimes, okay, there's this term for like a CS student. I'm not sure, but I think some of you might aware. They call it like a tutorial hell or something like a tutor hell. Basically, you're watching this tutorial, that tutorial, this tutorial, this tutorial. You're watching so many tutorials, right? But then you're just lost. There's this tutorial telling this. There's this tutorial telling that. You just don't have a direction because you're watching too much tutorials. In data science, there's what I coin, like a term that I say very similar. It's sort of like an EDA help because the data is just so many. You can just do so many EDA, so many analysis that you can do to the point where you sometimes you dive too deep and you're lost. You just sort of not see where the clear picture is. So here's where effective communication comes in. You have to clarify, what does your boss want, what does the manager want, what is the project about, what is the end goal, and then you from that angle you backtrack it to reach the end goal. So effective communication is really important. Lastly is structured thinking. The problems that you face in industry is very, very complex. It is not one layered, and the project spans a very long time essentially, right? It can be 1 year, 2 years, or even multiple years. So when you come in, there's this big problem, there's this big goal, you want to achieve it. For example, the one that I'm doing, okay, we want to identify mule accounts. So that's the end goal. Very simple. But then what is the approach? So that's where you have to have a structured thinking. You have to break down the big problem into small chunks, right? And then you also have to plan it out before starting. I know sometimes you get the data, you're very excited. So you immediately go dive deep and then you do a lot of EDA, you find a lot of insights. But then you're like, oh wait, there's so many insights, but then it just doesn't tell a story, right? It doesn't tell anything. So many insights, but I can't find anything useful. So it also ties down to effective communication. Ask your boss what you want, then you structure it. Okay, my boss want this. How do I structure it in a way that can achieve that, right? And do this not just in tech problems. I would say in any business problems as well. When your boss asks something or anything, basically in real life, like try to treat everything in a more structured manner before, like, instead of just going it immediately without having a plan. So have a structure, have a plan, and then document everything, and then these kind of small little things actually helps. So two sets of skills of categories that I think are very important to masters in the future. I think no matter if you're in your working industry or in academia as well, these two are very important. Lastly, not last. Okay, next, recommendation on learning resources. So sharing like the specific things that work for me, equipping yourself for success that can help you with your success. Why do I mean by work for me is because I'm actually an engineering student, so I'm not like a CS background, math background, or stats background. So I actually do this transition into data analytics, data science by myself without any. like a academic, bachelor program. So these resources work for me, and I think if you wanna enhance your knowledge on data, I think it will work for you as well because it worked for me. So first is learning for example. So Kaggle, I think everyone here is very much aware of Kaggle. A lot of data set, very fun data sets. So Kaggle is where you experiment with variety of data sets. You learn from existing examples, and then if you have the interest, can also join ML competitions. There's a lot of competitions that are published on Kaggle. And then Medium. Medium is an article open platform article where people can write anything. It's basically something like Instagram. It's something like a open access. There's no fee or payment. Payment. You can just go there, make an account, write an article on anything you want. It's not limited to just tech knowledge. Really, any topics. Every topics is out there. Science, politics, geography, animals, every single topic is out there, finance, including tech. So both of these, I would really say is learn from existing examples, read what other people have done, try to understand why they do the code a certain way, but don't do it too much, as I mentioned around just now for the example of tutor hell. So this is also something like tutorial hell. If you just keep reading too much, but you're not really doing it yourself, you're not implementing your own projects, then that's not really a good thing because you are just inputting, but you're not outputting. Sometimes both are equally as important. Once you input, then you have to synthesize and output and try to do your own projects. Next is some YouTube channels that I personally use and I find incredibly helpful. So there's this for data analytics is Alex the Analyst, Rob Muller, Mo Chen, and data science, StatQuest with Josh Starmer and Krish Naik. I think this the first one, Alex the Analyst, is very good because he have like a playlist of projects that you can do and they are very introductory friendly. So you go in, the explanations are very clear, a lot of examples, and then you can actually use the projects that he do. You sort of do it as well, and then add into your portfolio. That's also nice. And for data science, I would say data science, the core mastery that you have to master is statistics. So there's this YouTube channel that explains really well all the statistical concepts that is related to data science, which is StatQuest with Josh Starmer.
Excuse me,
Next
yeah,
is
just before that,
yeah.
can you explain the difference between data analytic and data science?
Okay, sure. So data analytics is analyzing data to gain insights, to gain actionable insight, to so people then so people can understand and then make decisions from the data, right? That's data analytics. Data science is what data analytics do. Data analytics do, but then further added, more of like predictive analysis, doing predictions, machine learning. That is data science. So, for example, a very quick comparison is, let's say a scam situation, right? A scam situation. What data analytics do is identify, okay, in Malaysia, how many scams are there? What type of scams are there? Which is the most amount of scam? The quantity of the scam, love scam, investment scam, e-commerce scam, right? And then what are the amount of scam that are lost? Like maybe 500 ringgit, 600 ringgit, and then how many people are affected? Usually, which day does the scammer usually scam the people? Maybe Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, right? So that's data analytics. Just basically analyze. But data science take all of this data and do prediction. For example, so for this transaction, is it a scam or not? Binary, yes or no, one or zero. From this data that I mentioned earlier, data science identify this, is this scam? Is this not scam? So that's the difference between data analytics and data science. Data analytics just to really understand what this data is telling me, what is the story behind this data. For example, especially in industry or business, they want to increase their sale, right? It's all about making money. They want to make profit. So let's say they sell stuff, they sell 5 books. So they need data analytics to identify, okay, which book is the hot seller. So they know, oh, book about Harry Potter, because right now everyone is in the Harry Potter trend, right? So they know, oh, Harry Potter is a very good book because has a lot of sales. So from that, they make decision to print more Harry Potter books because right now it's in a trend. So that's data analytics, right? Data science is prediction, machine learning. Next, I hope that gives a better idea on the difference of data science and data analytics. And then there's data engineering as well. Data engineering, I would say a very simple explanation is basically creating. So the data that we get, right? There's so many. Where do we store them? How do we store them? That's where data engineering comes. They just create like a warehouse, like a storage system to store all of this data. As simple as that. That's data engineering. Then, of course, if you dive deep, there's the pipelines and all. There's lake and warehouse. So the difference between a data lake and a data warehouse is that data lake is just raw data. All the data they all put in the data lake. They don't do any processing. But then from the data lake, the raw data, they process it a bit, then they put it into a data warehouse, right? So that's data engineering. Then we have books. So I really like, if you are interested in data science, doing prediction, doing machine learning, this book is really, really good. And it's not just for me. If you look up reviews online, people have also have very good reviews on this book because of how well it is explained, and the examples given are very intuitive, very easy to follow. So this book I really highly recommend. And then if you want to listen to podcasts, which I do, I know it's kind of interesting. It's not something you do, you're in a train or wherever listening suddenly to data science, but I do it. If you want to listen to podcasts, I also very, very, very highly recommend this podcast, Machine Learning Guide. I think the person explains it really well. Even though if it's a podcast, you're just listening, you're not visualizing, there's no graphics, but he explained it so well that you can actually understand. So in conclusion, these are the things, my recommendation if you want to further learn or further reinforce, the knowledge you have learned from your degree. These are the resources. All right, so the next step. So I have explained, starting, introducing who am I, right? Coming from engineering to data analytics, data science, introducing my company, PayNet, the things that we do, explaining in detail data analytics, data science, the challenges, the complexity, the exciting fun and the exciting and fun stuff that I do. And then I also explain the skills that you have to master, like the fantastic four of mastery, of data mastery, Excel, SQL, Power BI, Pandas, and then the power skills, soft skills. And then I provide concrete resources that work for me, that I highly vouch for and I think will be valuable to all of you. So now it is the final part, which is the next steps, right? What do you do next after this? So firstly, I would say find a domain. This is not like a short-term thing. I think finding a domain is more in like a long run, right? Because for me, my definition of like data science and computer science, data analytics is like a tool. It's just a language, right? Like English or Malay. You can study the same knowledge. You can study maths in both English and Malay, right? So data science is like that. You can go into, let's say, finance, oil and gas industry. You can go to finance industry. You can go to banking industry. You can go to automotive industry, gaming industry. There's so many industries, so many domains. Which one you want to do, right? That is, I would say, comes hand in hand, right? Both are important. You know the tools, you know the languages, but you also need to have the domain knowledge. So slowly take your time, explore, find a domain that you're interested in, and focus on that. So that's point number one. And as for me, PayNet, I will consider classify it as a fintech domain, so financial technology. Next is building your portfolio essentially, right? You do not want to linger too much in like tutorials. You have to really synthesize, create your own projects that you love. And I would say projects, if you're not sure what projects to create, a very easy thing is just ask yourself, you wake up in the morning, what problems do you find, right? For example, you wake up in the morning, uh, you do not know what time the bus arrive, right? Just an example, I know the tools are already out there. You do not know what time does the bus arrive. So that's a problem, and then you create a solution for that problem. So that's a project that can be added to your portfolio. So computer science is actually just problem solver. You wake up in the morning, you observe the world around you. What problems do you have? What problems do you want to solve? You solve it through the projects that you do, and then you document that in your portfolio. So that is the second one. And thirdly is networking and be visible. This is also highly crucial, especially if you are starting to work in industry or in academia. Basically, both are very important networking, because I would definitely say it helps a lot if the people knows you and then know your work, and then they can recommend you, right? A lot of the times the vacancy, the jobs, the occupation, they are selected, of course, through CVs and all, like you submit on a portal, but sometimes they are also selected through word of mouth. So I know this person, he's very good from my past company. Can I recommend it to you, right? So networking is very important and be visible. So how do you do that? Through LinkedIn. I think that's one of the effective way of being visible. So post a lot of things in LinkedIn, and it doesn't have to be just your tech, your project. It can be any single thing that is related to you that identifies that how do I put it, like that makes you you, right? So for example, I like French. I'm very passionate with the French language. So on LinkedIn, I would just post things that about French languages, right? Or basically anything. It doesn't have to, right? Don't limit yourself. And you don't have to be like so formal on LinkedIn as well. You can just be kind of fun, kind of playful. So these are the three things I would definitely share and hope you guys can implement in the next steps, right? And I think, yeah, that is okay. So success is like data. It's not really about what you have, but how you use it. What do I mean by here? I think the data part is very obvious, right? You have so many data. It's not really what data you have, but how you implement the data, what data you use. Success in this here is, I believe every single one of you are very smart, right? You all have the resources that I shared just now. And in this day and age, everything is very accessible. You just need a laptop, you just need a Wi-Fi, you can access all the resources online. So you all have it. You all have the knowledge, you all have the intelligence, you all have the access to internet, you all have the YouTube, the resources. But it's how you use the knowledge that you have, the time that you have every single day, the intelligence that Allah given to all of us, or God given to all of us. So yeah, it's not really about what you have and how you use it. So that's my quote for all of you. And with that, I think I end my session today. And if you're interested, just connect with me on LinkedIn, Faizia. You can message me, don't be shy. If you want to have like a physical talk, I'm very open to that as well. And yeah, I open to the floors for any question.
Okay, thank you so much, Faizia. It's very fruitful information. Your experience is like not a theory, but a real experience. Very interesting. So now I open to anyone who would like to ask question. Please ask. There are 89 of you here. Surely you have some question. Anything, just ask. If you cannot use your voice, you can type here. Can someone?
Yeah, don't be shy.
If you realize that this is what we have done in class, right? Like feature creation, you also have learned, and then we use Power BI, and then we have uh, um communication. That's why in the class you have to do presentation, kan? What is your finding? Not you see whatever you learn in class is also happen in a real life. Hmm. Okay, can someone ask question? Okay, Faiz, there is one question for you.
I cannot access the chat.
Oh, you cannot access the chat, huh? So what is the most challenging part when doing your work?
I think
Okay.
yeah, boils down. I can categorize that into two. So the technical part and the more like people engineering part. So technical part, initially it can be very overwhelming. Because in academia, I mean like what you learn and what the industry do, it's it you learn they how say you what you learn is used in industry, yes, but then sometimes it can be much more complex. It's not saying what you learn is not complex. It's like there is just an added layer of complexity. And then sometimes if initially, like for me initially as well, when I started like especially the data science part, the big data complexity was quite overwhelming. And then the relational database. So challenging is and I think this just applies initially in every single thing, right? Initially, you'll be probably just not familiar with it. So the challenging part is really familiarizing with the complexity of data. That's the challenging for initial part. Then but once you are familiar with the data and then you have more experience working on it, you gain more confidence, and then that wouldn't be as much of a challenge as it initially was, right? So that's more of a technical side. And right now, I must just admit, like, I think industry also we use a lot of like LLMs tools. Okay, I'm not gonna say the name like LLM tools. So it helps a lot. I would definitely say right now the LLM tools, right? Okay. So challenging, but then because of the LLM tools, it sort of ease a bit the challenge, but that's technical. But aside from like real coding, like technical part, also like really what to get out of the data. The data is just so big, so much. Sometimes you're just lost. You don't know what to analyze because you can analyze everything. So that's the challenge part, right? So really knowing what your objective is. Second, on the people engineering, that is also quite a challenge lah. Like how do you communicate with your boss? How do you establish relationship? All of this takes time to ex- to yeah, basically people engineering, right? Because you work in a team. Sometimes you ask someone for help, but then they don't reply, right? It's been 2 days. So what do you do? Right? So that's also a challenge. Do you approach them in front? Like how do you approach them if you want the data from them? It's been 2 days, they didn't reply, right? You ask them 2 days ago, they didn't reply. What kind of tone do you use? What kind of approach? So the people engineering side is also a challenge in industry.
Yeah, it's true. This is what I've been telling you in the class, right? Soft skill, soft skill. Soft skill was not taught to you in school or in any university. So what you do is you need to learn your soft skill. This one have a lot of motivation, a lot of books on communication, especially how to approach people, how you have to read on your own soft skill part. Okay, so any other question? Come cepat tanya.
Yes. I mean, okay, because yeah, Okay. Okay, sure. Okay, sure. So I would just say relative. Everything is relative. It might be complex for me, right? But some people might find it easy. But I'll just show maybe maybe I'll give me a second. I'll put it up. Give me a second. Uh, wait. Mm, I mean, yeah. So there is one table here, and then there's a lot of you have to do case when. So this is why I mentioned the CTA table, like with and then case when this is where you process the data. So this is where you see all of these are unauthorized transaction, right? But then the way they key in is differently. They all refer to the same thing, but the string that is key in is different. So this is where processing data comes, and it's a lot of data processing, and it's very a lot of tedious work. So you have to find all of this and then group them as one unauthorized, and then okay, so these are all one table, and then you create another. Here you create another CTA table, and then from there, so another CTA table. Oh, this is not CTA table, is this? Another CTA table. Yeah, another CTA table that takes from the previous table. Yeah, you can see, right? So yeah, something like that. So, and then this is like the complexity of it, lah. I mean, it looks complex, but if you break it down piece by piece, as I mentioned, the structured thinking, right? So it's where you break things down piece by piece, and then you have to draw the table yourself. Okay, I want to connect this, this. Then it wouldn't be as complex. But I think the thing I wanted to say is more towards initially you might be sort of like culture shock of how complex it is just initially, but once you get to know the data in like one week, 2 weeks, then yeah, it's easier. And also, yeah, a lot of the times the data that we receive, right, because there is concern of privacy, so sometimes they are hashed. So when there's hash data, it gets even more like added layer of complexity because you have to link the one that is not hash with hash and then find something like that, like hash here, hash there, non hash. Yeah. So
Can
that
you
is
explain what is hash? Because a student 230, they study hash in their data structure before this. But student mathematics and student statistics have not learned hash. Can you explain a little bit what is hash?
sure. Can I show data? Okay, I just show data. Oh my, I don't think I can show. I want to show, but I think it's
Now
confidential.
you
It's
can
okay.
see, okay, for
Basically,
okay, hold on. For student computer science, you can see, right? What you have learned is actually a part apply in real life. Probably you learn data structure, you do not understand what is hash, and then you learn sorting, you learn what else, array, stack, queue. You might not understand, but it's actually in real life they really use it. Mm. Okay, sorry, Mr. Faiz.
yes. Hash. Basically, what we hash is so there's this thing called I forgot what it's called. Tentative data basically. So because we deal with transactions, so we have the person name, the person number, the person bank account ID, which bank. So all of these are sensitive data, especially name and account number. So we have to hash it, basically make it make it less like change it into another form that is not detectable. That for something from very sensitive becomes just long string, a long number of strings. So that's hash. So all of the data that we submit, so we call it on-prem data, on-premise data. We have our own data center, physical one. So the physical one, since it's owned by us, we store the sensitive data there. But then when we upload to the cloud services like AWS, Google Cloud Platform, and then the Microsoft Azure, there's these three lah that usually use in industry, but we use AWS. So when we upload to AWS, we hash it first because we scared we are or we were scared of if in case of any data privacy breach. So when you use the data from AWS, then you want to connect the data with your own server. The own server is not hashed. The AWS is hashed. So that added also a layer of complexity. How do you link them?
Is that answer your question just now, Muhammad Hasif? So do you have a table that you can see the table? Do you have any picture of a table? Usually database they have a table
Yeah.
relationship. Do you have anything that you can show?
I don't have the table relationship, but I can
Uh,
show. I can show. Give me a second.
I know sometimes it's quite a privacy. If privacy, I understand.
I can show something. Wait, let me just.
So that these students, they are mostly part 6. For your information, they are part 6. It means next semester, they're going for industry training, then they start working. So at least they can see what are the perspective or what they are, are going to face.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have a. I don't think I have a like relational database schema to show, which is interesting because the team that deals with this, they don't even draw database schema. It's all in their head. So
I see. Okay,
they
okay,
don't draw it.
okay.
It's all in their head. That's all.
So you all see, they don't draw anymore. When you do your project, you have to draw. But when it comes to real life, they just put all inside their head.
Yeah, because they are.
Okay, we have another question here. This comes from Intan. Intan, do you love computer science? Or Intan, do you love this data? Because you asked what you love in data analyst and why you become one of them.
Oh, I
I
love
believe Intan also. Maybe Intan, you love data science? Intan? Intan also love. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Uh,
I think data analysis is just very amazing. It's creating stories, crafting narratives, crafting insights from just numbers, strings, plain text, from all of this data, especially in this age of big data. There's so many data, and we can find out narratives from it. That's just why I love data analysis. It's just the beauty of it. And then it helps to create data driven decisions. So the decisions that you make are all factual, are all backed up. It's not just intuitive or like I feel like I do this because I feel like. No, I do this, I make this decision because it's appropriate based on the data that I have. It's validated. That's what I love about data analytics. Data science, on the other hand, I think is, and then that is, it's also a very interesting thing to be able to predict stuff. You have all of these different features, all of this information, and then the machine can learn it and it can predict. Very, very exciting, right? You can, and then it solves a lot of problems as well. It helps solve the real problems that humans are facing. For a clear one is what I'm doing right now, which is combating fraud, right? We employ machine learning models and then we help solve problems, and not just problems, we solve problems in terms of money. When we are able to stop these scams, we get back the money. So we are able to identify it's a scam, we trail it, we stop it, then we are able to get back. And this money if you aggregate it in the whole Malaysia, it comes down to millions of ringgit, right? So that's just the beauty of data science. You are solving people's problem, helping people, and like really helping people, getting back their money. That's just one example of it, and there's much more application of both data science and data analytics. That's why I love data.
Okay. For your information, most of student 230, I'm not sure about statistic. Definitely you do prediction, but for student 230, they also do prediction with machine learning. Most of the student project in faculty using machine learning for predicting. And UITM, FSKM, KPPIM lah. It actually was famous and well known to university, the whole world, to university outside Malaysia, for a university, for a campus that mainly research is on machine learning, on prediction, including statistic and including computer. But of course, statistic, they use different method, and computer science, they use machine learning. That's for your information. Okay, I hope it's answer your question, Intan. So next, Muhammad Nabil, you are, this one is different. Yes, I see. In this world, you don't have to limit yourself to, if you're computer science, you computer science. No. You can cross, like you see, you are engineer. Now you cross, become data analyst. It's like that one. So now we have Nabil, want to cross to language. You are proficient with many languages. How did you learn them? Or what is the best way to learn new languages? Now I heard Faiz is learning Arab. Can you speak a little bit Arab?
No, cannot. Not yet.
Just a
Not
bit.
yet.
Just a bit. That day you demo to me. Just a bit.
No. It's alright. Just
Because we also have a
maybe.
student come from
Oh,
Sekolah Agama. Surely they know Arab. Now he picking up Arab.
yeah.
Just say a little bit. Just a little bit.
No, it's
Brag
not.
lah sikit.
Not yet. Not that level yet.
Okay.
French maybe. So learning languages, I think a lot of it, your surrounding, your environment plays a huge role. I was fortunate enough to spend time in, the country that actually spoke the language. So that plays a huge role in helping once you have that language environment. So I was in France for 4 months. So that's where I picked up the French language. And I would definitely say because it really, the core thing, it's more towards passion. In anything you do, anything you want to pursue, it's all about passion and interest. Once you have that passion and interest, things comes relatively easier. You don't have to force it. You do it because you love it, and the time that you spend on it is not. You don't feel like you're wasting time, or it doesn't feel like forced. It doesn't feel hard. You actually enjoy it. So even learning French was not something overnight. It takes a lot of effort and time, especially the new languages, the pronunciation and all the grammar. But because I have that passion, I have that interest, I'm willing to put in a lot of hours. But for me, it's enjoyable, right? So I think this applies to anything, learning language or learning CS as well. If you're passionate, because building a project is definitely not easy. If you're passionate in building a project, you're passionate in the solution that you're providing, then you are willing to put in the effort, and it won't be even you feel enjoyable in it, even though it's complex. So that I would say passion and interest is the recipe in learning anything.
So last time I heard you also took test, right? Like a test in France.
Yeah.
And what level have you passed?
Oh, like B1, close to B2. So if you guys take Moet, right? I would say for 4.5, something like that. Yeah.
The highest is what? I also know 6.
5.5. Sorry, it's 5.5.
5.5.
Because I took Moet as well a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I know. It's
Okay.
like 4.5 on Moet.
Okay, that is good. That you can still improve.
Yeah.
So another way is what? To move your TikTok to France.
Oh, yeah,
Listen TikTok, watching movie in France.
True.
The best way is to listen, Nabil. The best way is to listen to music, listen to song in that language. or watch
True.
movie. This is what, when I learned English last time, this is what they taught us: listen to music, watch TV, kan, movie in that particular language. More question, please. More question.
I want to ask.
Okay, Nurul.
Okay, basically, mathematical student only learn basic skill on big data analytic. But in our intern, the most suitable job for our coursework are related to data analyst. So, in your opinion, what can we do to rival the other course that learn more on the science computer? So, what can we do to be picked by the company?
Yes, I understand your question. And you come from different background, and I understand the idea behind it. You want to work in an industry where the industry is maybe computer science people are more sort of quote unquote suitable for it, right? But I would say once you start working, you can find people from very diverse background not working in what they learn. So just put it out there to tell you that do not limit yourself, and do not, tell yourself, oh, they are computer science student, I'm mathematics student, and say, oh, maybe they have a higher chance of getting that just because of their academic background. I would definitely say no. It's You can be anything you want, your academic background. Don't put it as a limiter of what you want to pursue. And then I would say, you ask how to increase your probability of getting picked and all. I would definitely say, as I shared as the last slide, is visibility. You have to put yourself out there first so that the recruiter, the HR can notice you. That's one. Secondly, in terms of your CV as well, your CV, if you want, you can just message me on LinkedIn and have me review your CV, your resume for you. I think the way you structure your CV is also very important. And then the portfolio that you do, one key thing that you can really differentiate from the other CS students, maybe through your portfolio that you do, like really prove why you want to be a data analyst, right? I mean, data analyst. So through the portfolio, the recruiter, the HR can understand, oh, this person done this kind of analysis, and it shows that you are really interested in that. So portfolio, your CV, the way you write, the way you structure is important as well. And yeah, just don't limit yourself. Just keep doing. And I would definitely also say you can engage directly, approach directly the recruiters on LinkedIn. Don't be shy. Just send a message and say, "Oh, I am Faiz from UiTM. I'm looking for an internship in your company. Here's my portfolio. Here's my CV. I hope we can have a better chat." Just directly message all the recruiter. Don't be shy. Just approach them. That's another way to increase your likelihood. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I say: soft skill, communication skill. You have to just approach people, be blunt. Just approach them. Lead in kan, you say kan, go
Yeah,
through them and
exactly.
just talk to them. And then remember, you have your project, print out your project, because your project is also your portfolio. Everybody, if you want to go for interview, print. Mm-mm. That's why I want you to do correction. Whatever I ask you to do correction, and then you print for yourself the next copy. Is it answer your question? Nora, Nor, I nampak Nor aja. Is it answer your question?
Yes.
Ah, Nur Hanim. Okay. So others, please ask. You will not get this. Okay, yeah. One more thing. Faiz also helping people. Because he say in future he going to open his own company where he will assist people, but with charge lah in future. Now still free. For those who want to apply university, you have to write what, a letter. What they call it, the entrance letter.
Personal statement.
Personal statement. He very good at. He been doing this for free all this while. So if you have your resume or whatever, you can send to him. You want to give us your phone number or what, Faiz?
Yeah. Can I? Why I can't access the chat?
Okay, you let me know. I type it out.
Okay, 011
Okay,
1123
okay,
4052.
Okay. 011-1123-4052, eh?
Yes.
So he'll be helping this, but in future it will not be free anymore. So before it lasts, please assist his help. He very willing to help people. Last time got one student got send me. I want to send to him, but I cannot find anymore. Who is that person? Because this person say want to pursue in data analyst. So want me to assist in the resume. Who is that person? Sampai sekarang tak muncul-muncul. Who are you? Okay. This one, another question. How to convince recruiter that you have the skill even if for you have low CGPA? For example, PayNet has a cut off at 3.7. Otherwise, you are not even qualified to apply for an interview. Or you want me to repeat?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
I think just apply. I would definitely say whatever requirements they write, don't limit, don't say, oh, because I have lower or I don't meet, just apply. Sometimes they are looking for people that are diverse, that are not just, like CGPA sometimes can really translate to just the person memorizing and being able to doing the exam doesn't necessarily translate that the person is capable of working, right? So they are really looking for someone that's holistic. CGPA is just part of the metric. It's not everything. So I would definitely say the portfolio that you have and really the way you structure your CV, it's really important. You can have the most, amazing portfolio, but if the CV, the resume, even the format, right? The format itself, the words that you use, those little things might seem it's insignificant, but they are actually very significant in the recruiter eyes because they receive the CV very quickly. They just scan resume, right? Very, very fast. So the way you make your resume is also highly influential. And yeah, I would just say though CGPA is just one of the small metrics. And it's really just it's like XPM lah, I would say just the initial part, right? It's like you just open doors. Right? Once you start working, the experience that you have during work, the performance that you have during work, the growth during your actual first job is the one that is more I mean like it's more important. So whatever the past is the past, right? Your CGPA, you cannot change the past. What you can do is just focus on the future. Do format your resume really well. Do portfolios and just submit every single place. Don't limit. Don't say because I don't meet the requirement or whatnot. Don't say like they write CGPA certain limit. Just apply, and then once you get your first job, do it very well. That's more then slowly progress from there and then just connection, just talk to people, just message people on LinkedIn, like with me right now, right? You're doing connection as well. You can just follow me on LinkedIn and just send me a hi, then I know who you are, right? In the future then I'll be looking at your profile. Then in the future if there's vacancy I might contact you. So all of these little things matters.
Does that answer your question, Muhammad Amir? Next question. Tanya lagi. Bukan senang tau. Wants to continue. What do you mean wants to continue? Elaborate. I don't really understand. What do you mean elaborate? You want him to elaborate more?
Wait. Like I want to continue on that question. The first question that I asked. Example, right? I understand from the side of the recruiter to make a faster recruitment process. They just use the like ATS program, right? They just screen through all the CV that came in using some kind of AI, and then let's see like some kind of keyword, like some kind of keyword binding to see some kind of applicant that are qualified for the job, right? So I'm just wondering, like, if there's you said like there's a way to circumvent the ATS system, right? By go on like talking on LinkedIn, but sometimes this kind of recruiter, they don't even want to talk to you if you don't have some kind of credential behind you. So if you're like a small maybe like it's like me, like an example, I'm just like a like a small junior dev. Like how am I gonna convince them that I have I have it, like is like what kind of, is there like something they want to hear from you as a call it, as an applicant, maybe like certain keyword, maybe that's what I meant.
I see, like a certain keyword. I think the ETS system, it's if you structure the format in a proper way, it can definitely pass through it. I mean, if you have the keywords I would say quite general. And a lot of time the CVs are actually read by human as well. The ETS thing, I'm not sure if it's highly accurate. I'm not sure about my HR, but I'm pretty sure that my HR screens through every CVs. That's one thing. Don't worry too much about the ETS thing. I haven't had a issue with that. Maybe because the way the resume is formatted, I think it's important. Secondly, if you want to know how it's formatted, maybe you can message me on LinkedIn. I can show an example of a resume that works for me. And then for the second one, you mentioned about the cold approach on the recruiters on LinkedIn. I would definitely say just the way you approach them really makes a difference. So try and approach in a very interesting and unique way, very convincing way. And then also if you're a CS student, you have a lot of portfolios, link your portfolio and then link your resume. And then right at the end, I'm very open to meeting you. I'll have a next progression chat. And I am aware with the notion that they might blue tick you, they might ignore, ghost you. That's where quantity comes in. It's just a number of games. It's very common. You just have to keep reaching out, sending messages, applying, and it's just a number of games. It's something that everyone faces. It's just the hardship of applying because the competition is just very fierce. So you just have to keep doing. It's just probability statistics, not probably, but it's just statistics, right? The more you apply, the more likelihood you get received. So just don't give up. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, you definitely questioned an answer, and I'm very, very grateful of the answer that has been provided by you. But I do have more question, but I don't think it's appropriate for me to ask here. Could we like later on continue on LinkedIn maybe?
Sure. Just send me a message on LinkedIn.
Great.
We would like to ask for one last question. Anybody would like to ask anything, not necessarily limited to visualization or our class matter. How about you? Are you single? Faiz?
That's confidential. It's confidential.
Okay, sorry, confidential.
Like
Cannot ask that.
This has to be
That is
hashed.
a confidential data. It's being hatched. So you cannot ask that question. So anything else you want to ask? Yeah, you should show picture. Just now you show the environment, a very nice office. Show us first. Show us your office.
Can you see it? I can't see.
No, I cannot see. We just see wall.
Really?
Yeah, we see wall. Maybe show a bit of your office. Give us inspiration.
Why is it just wall? Okay.
Yeah, I just see background wall. Probably.
Okay, it's like this. So there is
can you take us out?
Cannot lah. I mean, yeah, I can. But it's all the tech people. And the tech people.
It's moving. You cannot see.
Let me just.
Wow, so big.
Okay, it's all tech people. They have a lot of monitors. Okay, like crazy monitors.
They stay working at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, see, there's so many monitors.
Hold on your camera. Hold on your phone. Your laptop. Wow.
So many.
Very nice office. Look like disco.
Certain.
Why look like this school?
Yeah, it's open space ish. Yeah. And this is my cubicle. So where I talk at the interview. Not interview, the sharing session. Like a private cubicle. Yeah,
Wow.
the culture is amazing. I love it here very much. People are very nice.
Okay.
Very very bright, very what you call cheerful culture, very nice office, very
Very positive
respectful.
people. Positive
Yeah, very
people.
positive. And
Okay,
it's
just now,
yeah. And it's a
can you
mid-valley.
answer? Can you answer the question just now? Amir asked you just now, how is your working life?
Oh, he asked work culture, working life. Yeah, work
What you asked
life,
just now, Amir?
work culture.
Amir, right, just now. Hello. Uh,
Oh, wait, where am I?
oh, Hasif.
Yeah, yeah. If you work in tech, definitely incredibly fast paced, especially in tech. And in terms of people coming in, yeah, because the office we employ an open space concept, so there's no doors, there's no dividers. Everyone sits in like a big open space, so you can hear noises. Not noises like you can hear everyone everywhere talking or anything, and everyone just seated very closely. And then your big bosses don't have their own rooms as well. They are just sitting beside you, behind you, something. So it's like a big open space kind of work. And fast paced, yeah, I would definitely say really, really fast paced in terms of tech and all. But that's where you grow, when things are fast, you have that kind of pressure, not necessarily bad, right? The pressure that pushes you to be better. Work culture good, work environment good. Yeah, it's accessible by LRT as well. It's in Mid Valley, Abdullah Hukom LRT. Yeah, come join Penang. And they have a graduate program. It's called Technology Graduate Program. You can look it up. It's really designated for tech background. Not necessarily you have to be tech, but if you like working in tech, coding, and they have all the tech. So we build everything, not everything, but we do build things in house. So if you like app development, web development, what else? QA, QC, DevOps, data engineering, we have everything here. All the tech stuff that you can think of. It's all, yeah, in PayNet.
Okay, thank you so much. I think if you need to ask Mr. Faiz, you can check his give a applause. Can we be a big applause to Faiz? Thank you so much for spending your time. And for your information, UITM does not pay him any single cent. For this talk, it's like that one. We call it collaboration. We call it
Yeah.
collaborative with industry. And industry give us input, but we don't pay anything. It's just more towards orang kata goodwill lah. More kepada keikhlasan, want to contribute the knowledge to society, back to society. More towards that lah. So if you need more question, you can ask. You can contact through LinkedIn. Faizia, just now he already mentioned, right? How to just Faizia, right?
Yeah, just
Faizia, right? LinkedIn, through LinkedIn, LinkedIn, Faizia.
yes.
And then for those who want to write your resume or whatever, you can consult him. He has been helping a lot of people, especially for those SPM student also going to go to university. And so far, all amazing. Ada yang nak pergi overseas, dah dapat pergi overseas. Ada yang nak apply scholarship, get the scholarship. Because of true good personal statement tu and what else can I say for my student? Please maintain in the here for a while. I have some instruction to guide you. And then for Faiz, we all very, very thank you for your input. Hopefully for next semester, I can invite you again.
All
for
right,
our
inshallah.
new student. Okay. Okay. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Can you see everybody giving you a clap? Oh no, go already. Okay, for you all, part to the assignment, 10% of the assignment. Hopefully, is benefit to you. This talk, I want you to write. You find 3 things that you find very interesting. Not interesting lah, something that you think you learn a lot. 3, he taught a few topics kan. I want you to find 3. And 3, it mean 1 topic, 1 page. 1 topic, 1 page, 1 topic, 1 page. So the most you can go is 4 pages. If you have so many things you want to say, you have learned this, I've learned that, I only know about this. Or you say, oh, whatever we learn in the class is actually tally with whatever in the industry. Macam tu, whatever you combine, or whatever you learn from him is actually you can see it from many angles. Doesn't matter. I make it open. You can learn, you can compare it. Yeah, in the class also you have learned. Oh, this is something new that you think you miss out from the class. Or you will relate something that you have learned. Oh, database. Yeah, I've learned database, kind of like just now, right? But now only I know real life database is bigger. Things like this. Whatever angle, as long as you feedback to me that you have learned something. 3 topics, 3 different topics. 1 database, contohnya kan, maybe maybe the real culture or working environment ke apa ke lah, whatever lah. 3 pages minimum, maximum is 4 pages, not including cover page. Cover not include. So 3 to 4 pages lah. Feedback to me. So the font size, I don't want to limit lah. If you have more things you want to express, your font kecil sikit lah. But no longer than 12. Jangan bubuh 14, 16 font. Jangan 14, 16 font, jangan. It's just that if you think, oh, I want to express more lah, I'm so excited, I want to share more. Sometimes, you say, oh, I want to tambah whatever Faiz say. I also have this experience. Example, when I do my project, I realize that this, which is similar to what Faiz experienced. Or maybe contrast. Faiz say like this, but when I do my project, it's actually like this. Contohnya lah, something that you learn, as long as you learn. Font size is 12 and below. 12 and below. Font tak kisahlah kan, apa yang you suka lah, Times New Roman ke, Calif tu ke, apa ke. And then single spacing ataupun 1.5 spacing, not double spacing. Nanti you tak boleh cerita apa. Single or 1.5 spacing, depend lah. Kalau you rasa you banyak nak cerita, you kecilkan lah. This one I tahu lah, oh orang ni, you all ni tak tahu nak cerita apa dah, habiskan 1.5. And then, oh you banyak nak cerita, 1. So I will assess based on what have you learned. You nak compare, you nak contrast, ataupun you cakap, oh baru I tahu, ataupun sama, istilah what I've learned also similar to what Faiz have said. Tak kisahlah any angle lah, it's very open. So this one is 10% from what the assignment that you have done before. This is tally to our last. If you see our course information, it's about challenges and very open lah. Closing lah to what we have learned in data science. And for your information, you can see that now. The work behind it, before you get clean data is also very important. They have data engineering. So what we see, we tengok yang surface kan, we see yang result saja, data dah clean, we clean sikit-sikit, and then we just plot, and then we come up with the storytelling. But you realize that before that, the data engineer is also very important. For your information, data engineer, they have a lots of certified. You can take certification in data engineering. Certified in maybe Hadoop, certified in yang I pergi training dulu Hadoop, Cloudera, all these things. These are all before come to our class. Before. Our class maksud dia data dah siap. Get from Kaggle kan. What I'm talking about before that. This one you can always learn on your own. Microsoft pun ada banyak Cloudera ada, Microsoft ada, you can learn and study on your own. You can pay and take the exam. This is another things that I want to highlight for those yang you rasa macam I CGPA tak bagus ke apa ke, you cakap macam tu kan, you can top up with this kind of certification. But you have to pay lah. But sometimes if you working, company dia akan pay for you. Okay, itu sajalah. Clear with your assignment? Assignment clear? Assignment, last assignment. Yes. Release out. This last assignment ni is for you to express your feeling. You faham, you tak faham, but must relate to the talk today lah. What we have learned to the class, sama ataupun whatever lah. Release yourself release. So when I baca, I baru tahu, your feeling lah, what inside you yang terbuku selama ni. Ataupun you cakap, Dr. Zainura ni aja salah lah. Contohnya lah, I tak tally lah dengan whatever Faiz say, gitu-gitulah. Want to express yourself, express lah. Jangan cakap tak tally whatever syllabus, our syllabus is approved by Ministry of Education. You jangan fight dengan I, you mesti fight dengan Ministry of Education. I am a lecturer, I follow syllabus. And syllabus is approved by Ministry of Education. And dalam tu semua ada penasihat punya banyak, industri penasihat semua ada dalam tu. Orang MOSTI pun ada semua when we design our syllabus. Our syllabus bukan kita buat short-short sendiri tau, there are a lot of outsider. Okay lah, I think almost 6 lah. You do, and then tomorrow you submit lah. Submit under my door. Pada yang dah balik kampung, if you want to submit online, you have to get my approval first. Okay, that's all. Kita sudahi dengan tasbih kifarah. Okay, bye-bye you all. I think that's it. No, I won't see you anymore. The end of our class dah. I pray for you. I pray that everybody excellent in all of your classes, in your career, your future. Tak kisahlah. Nanti semua jadi CEO. Kalau jumpa I kedai makan, belanja I tau. Dah jadi CEO nanti. Top manager semua ni. Okay. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you so much, Doktor.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Doktor.
Thank you, Doktor.
Laki ceria.
Thank you, Doktor.
Okay, ceria.
Thank you,
Okay,
Doktor.
bye-bye.
Thank you, Doktor.
Chinese New Year. Happy Chinese New Year.
Thank you, Doktor.
Okay, bye. Okay, bye.